All right, my dudes, so today what we're going to be doing is we're going to be pouring some masks. So I already showed you what you need to get started. I already showed you how to sculpt, how to mold it, and then this is what you're going to be coming out with. And that's basically a negative of what your mask is. So this is basically the cement mold that we're going to be then pouring latex in. So let me show you guys exactly how we do that for both an over-the-head mask and a half mask like this one. So let's go. All right, guys, so let's get to it. First thing we're going to do is open up our giant 5-gallon bucket of mask latex. So this is RD407. This is made by Monster Makers, and it varies, I think, from place to place. The stuff I get is super thick. Don't ask me why. I think it's because it's like cold here. Anyways, so we're going to go ahead and pour it in up to about a third full. Why do we want to do that? Because we want to brush it in. That first coat is always your detail coat. Make sure to get yourself a bunch of these shitty chip brushes. That'll help you out. And you can just use that to literally brush that in, making sure you're getting all the details, okay? This coat is crucial. Why? Because this is literally going to be the front face of your mask. So you basically just want to make sure that you've brushed over every single part. That way you can have an even coat to begin with. After this, what you want to do is literally start slushing it around a bit. Pouring latex. It's all about continuously getting like this even coat to cover it everywhere. Again, this is going to vary from place to place, from latex to latex that you use. Again, mine is thick, so I'm able to do a couple of revolutions of it and then let it dwell, do it a bit again, and then it tends to be that perfect thickness that I want. So here we go. We're going to do another one. This mask is a lot more detailed, so I'm probably just going to take a bit of extra time to actually put it in and detail it up. That first one was a bit more of like a doll, like a smooth face. So this is my new grandma mask. So she has a lot of wrinkles, and I want to make sure that all that hard work I put into sculpting literally gets to be shown through as I peel it out as the positive. So same thing, we're going to carefully brush it in. Now guys, you can just go ahead and pour latex in and start slushing it. What's going to happen though, potentially, is you'll get air bubbles. So it's really important to use that first layer to take the time and brush it in. Also, make sure you have the right PPE on, please. Super important to have yourself a really good organic vapors mask, as well as I have one that's organic vapors and particles, just to get 2 birds stoned at once, or whatever the hell they call that. All right. Now that we have that even coat, especially in those ears, we're going to go ahead and slush it and get that little coat going, because again, it's so important. We just want it so it's all getting in there. And this is the beauty about doing multiples at the same time. That first one's drying, it gets a bit thicker, and then we can rotate it more to get, you know, that desired thickness we want. So that's exactly what we're doing. It's repetitive, I know. It's not the most wonderful part of mask making. It's one of the laborious parts. But you're getting a workout at the same time because these molds weigh so much. So here we go with an over-the-head mask. So basically what I'm saying here is we're going to fill it up about 1/3 of the way, same thing, and then we're going to brush in those details. The only pain in the arse about these ones is that, one, you want to make sure you find a place to prop it up so it doesn't fall over. 2, you need to be careful when you're brushing in it because you're literally sticking your arm inside, right? There's no easier way to do this. Again, you could slush it around, but you're hoping for the best. You know, you might get tons of air bubbles. Save yourself, you know, that hard work afterwards. Instead of repairing, you can just go ahead and brush it in right away. So here we go. I'm just making sure to get into all those grooves. This is my new piggy mask. So the piggy has ears as well as like a silly nose, as well as like a lot of details around the eyes. So think about it. Whenever you're painting in latex into one of your masks, you want to be focusing most on those areas where, like, of course, you want to go over everything, but you want to be focusing a bit more on those areas where you have more details. Because, of course, again, you want to see those details shine through. So here we go. I'm just coming up the neck now. Now, I'm not too stressed about, the neck and the chin. Again, there's not much detailing on it. And I know that at the end of the day, I'm just going to be pouring this to the top and then pouring it out. And then pouring it to the top, slushing it around a bit, and pouring it out. So regardless, the neck's going to get solid coverage. We're just going to pour it up now. We're going to make sure it dwells. It's going to get nice and thick. I'm going to be able to rotate it around. And here we go. That's it, guys. You basically, after this, you're just continuing to pour, to roll it around until you get that desired thickness. All right, on to the next. Let's peel it out. All right, my dudes, so you've poured your mask, you've waited for it to dry for 24 to 48 hours or 36. It really depends on your climate. Now it's time to peel it. How do you know it's time? It'll kind of have more of a yellowish hue to it. When it's wet, it's very much more white and like creamy. Another way you can test, you can kind of poke inside, but I highly suggest don't do that. Maybe poke to like an outer part that's not actually part of your mask, just in case it is still wet. So I'm gonna go ahead and first start loosening up the sides. I already cut it off the floor because there was a solid part that was kind of stuck. And there, that's taken off. What we're gonna do is we're gonna take some baby powder. Some people use cornstarch, I've been using baby powder. And take a chip brush. That's your designated baby powder brush / talc brush, whatever. And you kind of want to put that a bit everywhere. Why are we doing this, guys? We're doing this because if we don't, it'll stick to each other. And the thing with latex, man, if it sticks, it is not your friend. It'll start, like, it'll warp it. So you basically want to make sure you cover it all really good. Wonderful. That's all covered. And now we want to start just slowly peeling it off. Everybody's like, that's so satisfying. I'm like, yeah, when it comes out awesome. Perfect. I'm just going to dump out the excess down here. Sometimes when I have a lot of them going, pardon me down here, sometimes when I have a lot of masks going, what I'll do is I'll literally pour the remainder into another mask just to save. But voila. So that's a pretty darn good pull. I have no air bubbles, no holes. Those are just kind of like straight up little nubbins of latex that we can just easily cut off and pull off. So this one's gonna be ready to get prepped. Let's go. All right, my dudes. So assuming that we already poured the mask, we peel out the mask, and then we have something similar to this. So we have our positive. That is just latex, right? So what do we want to do with this? We literally want to coat it in a base coat first of, I use glue, okay? So I straight up use Prozaid. There you go. And this kind of helps it be flexible and it helps the acrylics stick to it. So I'm going to start by doing that. I love using those little latex sponges that people use for makeup. You can literally just pick these up at the dollar store. The Prozaid's a bit harder to find though. You might have to find a local makeup effects store for it. A lot of people mainly use Prozaid as an adhesive for appliances, prosthetics, etc. So I use them for my mess. So here we go. I'm gonna go ahead and pull you guys down. And it's all about just getting an even coat. Some people thin it down. I've sometimes put water in it to make it a bit thin down, but honestly recently I don't do that. I just kind of use all of it, and you kind of just want an even coat over it. Now be careful because you don't want it to pool up. If you let it pool up, you're gonna get weird textures on it, right? So you kind of just want to evenly put it all over, and it's gonna get nice and tacky. Pardon my dryer. So I'm always wear gloves because Prozaid is not fun to take off, my dudes. Prozaid, the best way to take this off is literally like, I think we were using isopropyl myricate in school. I highly suggest rubbing your hands in a bit of baby powder or some kind of talc powder so that you can then kind of beat it off. Not that kind. But like literally it'll like help pull and make it like turn into little balls and stuff. It'll be just easier to pull off. What's always good to have too at home is like that orange mechanic soap that has like grittiness in it. I highly suggest that. Now that I say it, I should go pick some up. It's been a while. Here we go. So you basically want it evenly covered, right? You don't want to leave any spots dry. But this is like my first coat I'm doing on here, right? Because after this, we're going to be doing the next coat, but it's going to have color. So I've only recently started doing that lately because I find it helps so much when you're going to paint. Because airbrushing all the paint on, let me pull you up here. Airbrushing all the paint on takes some time. So there's something to be said about just using a sponge, mixing it with Pros-Aide, so you're kind of having like a Pax paint and literally putting on a thick coat of what you want that base color to be. I'm going to be showing you guys that anyways together. Making sure I'm getting under the jawline. And there we go. Perfect. So I'm going to go ahead and let this guy dry and bring over another one. Now, you really want to be careful, guys. When it comes to Pros-Aide, it is glue. I'm somebody who has dogs. Do not leave your stuff drying on the floor. Put it somewhere high up where it can't get full of crud. Make sure it's not just gonna fall over. It's happened to me. And you're literally sitting there for like an extra 20 minutes picking off any weird things that have come off of it. So because this is a half mask, even though like you see a bit more behind them, I'm just gonna focus again putting the Pros-Aide on all the front parts, the parts that I'm actually gonna paint. Because again, Pros-Aide's really expensive. I think just for this bottle, it's close to like $100. So don't be stupid. Save your stuff. Again, I just kind of want to get it a bit of everywhere. Also, change your sponge when you need to change your sponge. What you're going to notice is sometimes you'll be working and your sponge will start to piece apart. You don't want that because then you're going to get all these fun new textures going on. So I can see right now, you see, yeah, there you go. It's already starting to piece apart. So I'm going to chuck this, start a new one. I'm going to pour some more glue anyways. We're going to get that going. This is another mundane part of mask making, right? It's not that creative. It's just kind of going through the motions of making sure you just get it prepped and ready to go. But again, it all adds up to that end part. So if you're feeling unmotivated, don't. don't beat yourself up over it. Pop on a good movie. I tend to like doing this upstairs. I'll set myself up with like a solid amount of sheeting underneath so I don't ruin the floors and that, you know, no hairs come up and flying at me. And I find it kind of peaceful. You're just kind of going through the motions of making sure you coat it all and it's all ready to go. It's good to work in good lighting too. My lighting probably looks like garbage to you guys, but I can definitely see everywhere right now if it's shiny or not, if I've coated it. So it's always good to make sure of that. And beautiful. So I know with this mask, this little seam line is usually where I cut him anyways. And again, that's as far as I really want to go. And there you have it. Boom.